How do you go about devising a game plan here if you're Clemson to beat Ohio State?
Well, I think you do got to be concerned about the perimeter weapons that Ohio State brings to the table. And as I stated earlier, a lot of that's going to fall on the shoulders of Justin Fields making the necessary plays in the passing game to allow those weapons to get downfield. And, you know, for me, if I'm on defense and I'm looking at Ohio State offensively and I've watched Justin Fields to this point in big games, I'm gonna tell my team they're going to have to throw the ball to beat us. We are not going to allow him to run it. We're not going to allow the football team to run it. But with that being said, the secondary, I think that Ohio State at wideout is so far superior to what Notre Dame is, particularly outside of the tight end position, that it creates challenges for Clemson that they did not see versus Notre Dame.
Hey, Lugs, I want to focus on the Ohio State defense, the pass defense, and I went back this morning and looked at the Indiana-Ohio State game, the offense against that defense. I thought that was the best comparison for Clemson when you talk about a quarterback who can make plays like Michael Penix and a big-time receiver in Ty Freifogel. And it's illustrative in that game. The disguises by the secondary for Ohio State, not that good. You could tell Penix knew right off the bat, we're talking about a defense that's going to play man coverage. They're going to have a free safety, close in the middle. They're going to give you a little bit of 3 deep. They're not going to disguise it when they vary from that. So you're going to know. Trevor Lawrence is going to know what's happening. So you got to bring something different to this game if you're Ohio State on the back end, something Trevor Lawrence hasn't had on a regular basis. Shaun Wade was covering Ty Freifogel on a regular basis. He kind of chased him all over the field. I expect they can do that with Amari Rodgers. I'm not sure that's the right answer, but at some point, something different has to come on the back end because the matchups are not great back there for Ohio State defensively. Indiana was comfortable, put up 35 points, and they threw it around when they had to.
Almost alarming to hear Rod say that about the Ohio State secondary, right? I mean, that's traditionally been the strength of this football team.
They've had like 15 first-rounders in 3 years at corner.
That's a fair point, right? They just depleted after a while. You're right about that here. Running game, right? I mean, we saw it yesterday on display when Justin Fields struggled to throw the football. They just kept handing it to Trey Sermon, coach, over 300 yards.
Yeah, and that's the second time that their running game has pulled them out of a tough situation offensively when Justin Fields hasn't been performing up to his capabilities. You know, I'll tell you this, okay? If you want to win, and I know we love throwing the ball, we love all these points, you still got to be able to run the football and stop the run. And they can run the football. Look at what Alabama did run the football yesterday. Look what Najee did run the football. Look what Clemson did run the football with Etienne and with the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. And then look what Ohio State did run the football. Now, Notre Dame, they struggle a little bit running the football, but you still have to be able to run it. And I'm going to tell you, if Ohio State gets in trouble with the quarterback play, they've proven they can run the football. Can they run it against Clemson? Whew, I don't know. That's a pretty salty defense.
It is, and that's where it starts for Ohio State. Like, they have great, unbelievable weapons. I love Olave. I think Wilson's excellent. Hopefully Olave will be back. Not sure, as you heard Ryan Day, not 100% certain about his status for the semifinal because of that 17-day window that the Big Ten has implemented. I just think it's really about running the football, though. Like, we talk about these weapons and these wideouts and the fact that they're going to get one-on-one against Clemson. Clemson's going to dare you. Hey, you can beat us on the outside, do so. We'll let you have that opportunity, but you're not going to run the football against us. That's what Clemson's whole approach is likely going to be against Ohio State. And yet, I think Ohio State still has to be committed to it because Trevor Lawrence, he's going to get his points. But I don't like the idea of allowing Trevor Lawrence to have the football for 30, 32 minutes of the game. I think this is a situation for Ohio State for the first time in a long time. They got to play ball control, and they got to pound and pound and pound. And every snap that your offense is on the field and Trevor Lawrence and that offense is not on the field, that's a positive situation for Ohio State. So that's not something they're usually used to, but it might be something they have to resort to, Coach, if in fact the game goes the way I think it might.
Well, you talked about, I think, earlier, Notre Dame taking the air out of the football versus Alabama. I think the same thing has to happen with Ohio State and Clemson.
For sure.
But I think Clemson is Ohio State is more capable of doing that against Ohio State, against Clemson than Notre Dame is versus Alabama, because they can run the football. But you're not going to outscore Clemson. You're not going to outscore Alabama. but you just hope you don't have too many 3-and-outs.
Right.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.